Hello everyone. This is 7th lecture on fixed point theory, and today I am going to explain Karisti fixed point theorem. Among these generalizations of Banach contraction principle, Karisti's fixed point theorem is undoubtedly one of the most valuable one in nonlinear analysis. Now what this theorem says, let XD be a complete metric space and F be a mapping going from X to R, be a lower semi-continuous and bounded below function. Suppose that T is a Christie type mapping. Now what is this mapping? This mapping is this one. The distance of x comma tx, it is less than equal to f of x minus f of tx for each x belonging to the set x. So if the mapping T satisfying this inequality, then the T has a fixed point in x. So we consider any member of set X, let X be any member of X. We define a set valued mapping as going from X to the power set of X, and we define this set X Sx by all those Y belonging to X. So this set S contains all those Y belonging to X such that the distance of X comma Y is less than equal to f of X minus f of Y. So if any Y from the x satisfying this inequality, then that y is a member of this set Sx. Clearly this set is non-empty. Now why this is non-empty? Because x itself belongs to this set. So if we replace y with x, so distance of xx, we know that this is 0. Similarly f of x minus f of y, in replace of y you take x, so you get fx, so this will be cancelled out, so this inequality holds. So clearly this x belongs to Sx, hence this is non-empty. Now further we claim that for each y belonging to this set, fy is less than equal to fx and sy set is a subset of Sx. Now since y is a member of this set, so therefore this satisfies this inequality, but we know that distance is always positive. So what we get fx is greater than equals to fy. We can take fy to this side, so we get fy is less than equal to fx, so this thing holds. Further we want to show that sy is a subset of Sx. Now since sy is non-empty, why? Because y itself belongs to this set, right? So this should be non-empty. So we consider any other member of this sy, any arbitrary member of this sy. If this member is also a member of Sx, then we get sy is a subset of Sx. Now since z belongs to sy, so this satisfies this inequality. The distance of yz will be less than equal to fy minus fz. Again, since this distance is greater than equal to 0, so we get fz should be less than equal to fy. But fy is less than equal to fx, so we get fz is less than equal to fx. Further, by using the triangles inequality, distance of xz is less than equal to distance of xy plus distance of yz. But this is less than equal to fx minus fy, and this is less than equal to fy minus fz. So fy will be cancelled out, we get fx minus fz. So dxz satisfying this inequality. So from the by the definition of set S, this z should belongs to Sx. So z is any arbitrary member of Sy, and we show that this z belongs to Sx. So this implies that Sy is a subset of Sx. Next we construct the sequence x, xn in X by using the induction starting with the point x1. Suppose that xn, it belongs to x and it is known to us. Now we choose xn plus 1 from the set S of xn in such a way this xn satisfying this inequality, right? So we choose xn plus 1 from this set such that f of xn plus 1 is less than equal to infimum of fz, where z is a member of Sxn, plus 1 by n, and n belongs to capital N. So from this inequality what you get, f of x1, it is less than equal to z belongs to Sx. So infimum of all those fz where z belongs to Sx plus 1 by 0. So this is not defined. So we take n varying from 2. So now you put n to be 1 over here, you get x2. So f of x2 will be less than equal to infimum of all those z belonging to the set x1, right, plus 1, right, x3 same way plus 1 by 2 and so on. So we define a sequence xn plus 1 in such a way that satisfies this inequality and call this equation as 2. So now just see, since xn plus 1 belongs to this set, so this satisfies this inequality. The distance of xn plus 1 will be less than equal to f of xn minus f of xn plus 1. And since this is greater than equals to 0, so we get f of xn plus 1 is less than equal to f xn. What we have this sequence is decreasing. Moreover, this is given that this is bounded below. So therefore, this sequence should be convergent by using the decreasing sequence theorem. Say it converges to R. So R with the limit of f of xn. Now for any m greater than n, distance of xn comma xm by using the triangles inequality and by the equation 3 and 4 we can replace distance of xn plus 1 with f of xn minus f of xn plus 1, next with f of xn plus 1 minus f of xn plus 2 and so on. So all the terms in between they are cancelled out, we left with the first and the last. So we get this f of xn minus f of xm. And since our m is ever large, right, so this will going to R. So we can replace this with R. So what we have, the distance of xn comma xm where m is very large, it should be less than equal to this thing. Again, if you take n tending to infinity, this is also going to R. So R minus R, it will be 0. So the limit of this sequence is 0 whenever nm and n going to infinity. So this implies that xn is a Cauchy sequence. Since the space is complete, therefore it should be convergent. So it should be convergent. Say it converges to V. Now since f is lower semi-continuous, so therefore by the equation 4, we have fv should be less than equal to every member near the neighborhood of v. So it is less than equal to f of xj. So next we will prove that and call this equation as 5. Next we will prove that the intersection of all these xn's, it is a singleton set V, right? So for this we consider m greater than n and distance of xn comma xm by using triangle inequality. Again we have this thread. So we get this is f of xn minus f of xm. Again we have proved that that xm is going to v as m going to infinity and f is lower semi-continuous, therefore we can replace this with fv, right? So distance of xn comma xm is less than equal to f of xn minus f of v. Okay, and using and call this inequality as 6. So if you take m going to infinity, your xm is going to v. So we can write this as distance of xn comma v. It's less than equal to f of xn minus f of v. And this is true for every n belonging to the natural number. Call this equation as 7. Now by using 7, the v belongs to this is just by the definition, since for every n belonging to the natural number, distance of xn comma v is less than equal to fxn minus fv. So it means v is a member of every sxn. So it should belongs to the intersection. So clearly the intersection is non-empty. Further, SV will be a subset of this because V is a member of SV also, right? So by using the same concept as we have proved in the previous slide, that f of x, um, whenever y belongs to Sx, then S of y is a subset of Sx. So the same way SV is a subset of the intersection of all these. Next we want to prove that this V is singleton one. Let, if possible, it is not singleton, we have some W which belongs to the intersection of all these. So by using the equation 2, what we have, the distance of xn comma w, it is less than equal to f of xn minus fw, and we can replace this fw with this due to the definition of lower semi-continuity, right? So we get this thing, but further this is less than equal to, by using equation 2, this one, right? And whenever our n is going to infinity, this is going to r, this is going to r, this is going to 0. So this sequence is going to w, right? So this implies that the sequence xn is converging to w, right? But in the previous slide we have shown that xn is going to v. So by the uniqueness of limit of sequence, we should have w is equal to v. So this implies that this intersection is the singleton set. Further, SV is non-empty because V belongs to this, and SV is a subset of all this intersection, which is the singleton. So it means SV should be equal to singleton V. By using the equation 1, TV also belongs to SV. Why? Because T is a mapping, it is defined like this. The distance of V comma TV is less than equal to f of V minus f of T V. So this also satisfies by using the equation 1. So therefore TV is also a member of SV, right? But SV set is singleton set, so it means V should be equal to TV. So this implies that T has a fixed point in X, and this completes the proof of this theorem.